I would say before we jumped out, I think it was about less than an hour after the bomb exploded. We were already in that atmosphere, and so we were tested for that, and we got home. I forgot all about it, didn't think about it, went back to Fort Bragg, and I saw that in movie tone, and this little 82nd Airborne Shelter. And this guy's happened to focus in on me because I had a different, I had two parachutes then, one main, the other the reserve chute. The main chute was fixed. I fixed it. I didn't have to, but if you don't fix it, you're going to land hard because there's a smaller parachute, just enough to help you not break any bones. You might even have that happen. But so anyway, I fixed that up. And so after I saw that movie at Fort Bragg in the theater, she was, I said, that's me over there. And so, but the thing is, the entire theater, I don't know how they did it because they sued. So anyway, from that day on, I said, I wish I could have a picture. That was 1952. And back then, we don't think that we could ever capture it. In fact, we forgot about it until maybe, was it 2010. My son said, you can probably get it on the computer. No, I said, you can't. So anyway, to make a long story, I don't have much time, do I? Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. And so our high school had a reunion here in Las Vegas by my high school. It was a 60th year reunion in 1960. And so someone told me that there was a atomic bomb museum. But I asked her, what can I see? What can I see here? She said, well, you can go and take a look at the museum. So I took the bus and came here. Then I asked Steve Clark, who was working in the office. I says, do you have a picture of a guy that's parachuting with two parachutes? I'm sure you have it. He said, yeah, we sure do. He said, you go get one. And also, he called the secretary, I don't know who that was. But, so she gave me a copy, and I walked out of this building very happy after 60 years, almost 60 years. I finally have a picture. It's rare to have a picture of yourself with parachuting like that. And so I wanted that because it was something that I wanted to have. So I walked out of here, and I was overwhelmed with emotion when I looked at the picture walking from there, the sky. Tears came down my eyes that day because I remember the day very clearly. And I was so grateful. And so I got the picture, and I was so happy about it. And so I get it done. Anyway, in the museum, while I was walking through the museum, they asked us to film a card of what I thought about the museum. And the first thing that came to my mind was, the bomb is a very deadly thing. It can be held for good or for evil. And this nation, I think, was led by God to develop this bomb. As destructive as it was, I think it has a good cause for a nation that is righteous to have this bomb, to end the war. And I relate this as in the Bible. When the Lord flooded, He gave a flood to Noah. He destroyed the whole world at a time. So there's a reason for that, for the bomb is the same way. That bomb is for the good. God had to redo this whole population with racial evil. He had to redo it. Death is not, to man, death may be a very tragic thing. But to the Lord, it is not that tragic. His eternal plan has a good purpose, and it's not that bad. So the bomb, I relate to the same thing. If there's good in this world, there's evil. If there's darkness, there's light. There's always a purpose. So the bomb in the hands of a righteous nation can be best thing ever. So we cannot allow the evil nation to have that bomb. I want to say how grateful I am in this country. I love this country with all my heart. There's, this is my country, this is my people, it's my culture. And I wish that, you know, I was young enough and go in service again. It made me who I am. I was a shy young man. And I've never been out of the home, never even traveled. And all that I am today, I owe to this country. It's the greatest nation in the world. It has done more good than any nation in the world. What would the world be without America? Thank you so much.
So you see, this is kind of what happens in a museum. Stories kind of come alive, but it's up to us to capture those stories and to keep that record, and we do that here at the museum, and this is a big part of that. And Al, thank you for being with us today and sharing your story with us. Well, there's another story that I think you'll be interested to hear too, and it's coming up. My friend Ray Smith from Oak Ridge has been working on a couple of really interesting projects there. But one of the most interesting pieces, he was working on a project with a lady who wrote a book about the Calumetron girls who you see up here. And he's going to share some of that with us and some of the history of that part of the Manhattan Project. But this is a fascinating story, and I know you'll be interested in hearing say what Ray has to say. Ray, it's all yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Alan, and I'm really pleased to be here today, and it's my honor to follow such a wonderful story as you tell. I'm going to share some that have some of the women involved in the Oak Ridge story, and I think you'll enjoy that. Some of the rest of you also have stories of your own, and you'll think about that as we go through the rest of the day, and I think that's important as well. So what I'm going to do is we have some DVDs that are available, and we've kept a few of them here because as I go through this presentation, when you get an opportunity and want to ask a question, I'll give you a set of these DVDs, okay? And I'll get through in time, even if you have a lot of questions, it's okay. This one is the Nuclear Family. It's a story of the history of Oak Ridge and especially Y-12. The next one here is the Secret City. 2 90-minute DVDs that talks about the Calumetron girls and other things about Oak Ridge. And then the last one has a little video that I'm going to show you here in a bit, but it also has about 10 other short videos about the history of Oak Ridge. And so we have several of these available today, and if you don't get one while we're going through this presentation, it's okay. We have some more. I just use that to intrigue you to get involved with this. But we do have some others that we'll share with you. So, as we talk about the girls of Atomic City, I'm going to tell you a little about the history of Oak Ridge, but I'm going to quickly get to these girls and spend most of the time talking about the girls. I'm going to give you just a brief insight into me and my role as historian at Y-12. And I'm going to cover it real quick. I've been there for 43 years, and most of that time I've worked in the maintenance organization, managing the maintenance of the plant. We had a contract change. Most of the time when you have contract change, they bring in a lawyer and a president, and the rest of us just keep working. You all know that. We call ourselves weebies. We'd be here before you came. We'd be here when you're gone. But this contractor brought in 100 people, replaced the entire top of the organization. So I lost my position. The first thing they had to do was to find 800 buildings on the site and do a due diligence study. Well, they made people mad at them, so there wasn't anybody help them. So they called a meeting to figure out what to do. I went to their meeting, and I held up my hand. I said, I know where all 800 of them are. I'll find them for you. So they let me help do the due diligence. Then they got some money from headquarters to tear down some buildings. Had to be buildings that didn't have a mission. Well, bless their hearts, they didn't know which buildings they needed to keep and which ones they could tear down. So they held another meeting, And I held up my hand in that meeting and said, I know, I'll make you a list. And I did. I made a list of buildings. We've torn down over 300 buildings.